Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Today, how do you spot if your husband, wife, boyfriend, or girlfriend could potentially be gay or lesbian? Now, that's one hell of a headline, huh? Yeah. Now, guys, of course, you have to be very, very careful with this because you could jump to a conclusion. You don't want to be jumping to conclusions. But the problem is, sometimes people don't communicate. Number one of all time, you need to communicate with your partner. Discuss it, sort it out. Now, I'm going to give you a few examples of what I've gone through after took me a while to get my head out of the sand because I was an absolute idiot. I was deluded. I didn't want to know the truth. I was literally going around la 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 la. Didn't want to know. Because I was in a bad place when I was going out with this girl. Very bad place. Now, she was gorgeous, attractive, so naturally you'd be attracted to her. But I should have run from the hills very, very quick. But I just stuck the head in the sand, and what I want to do, guys, is I want to make sure that you guys don't make the same fucking mistake that I did. Because this stuff is out there. This stuff is happening. It's wild out there right now. People are not being honest. People are getting into relationships for the wrong reason. Now, listen, before I start, if you're married or if you're dating someone who is gay or lesbian, and if you're okay with that, that's totally okay. You know? I'm here just a concern, and hopefully, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong when I say my stuff, but it's definitely something to just keep an eye out on. All right, so let's get on with it, right? Okay, so guys, it was so basically I met this girl and she's gorgeous, and I kind of got to know her a little bit, and we didn't actually hook up straight away. We're actually sort of like, I wouldn't even say friends. We were just kind of going out. She was coming out with my friends at the time, and she'd just join us on some nights out. Now, obviously I was attracted to her. Now, she just broke up with a guy, I was told, so I didn't jump in straight away. You know, I didn't try to jump in straight away to see if I could be with her. I just gave it a few weeks. So then my friends were telling me, oh, she's only got eyes for you, man, and all this sort of thing. And I'm like, okay. I still wasn't sure. Now, when I was in this, I suppose, pre-dating relationship with her, she told me that she was bisexual. Now, as a lot of men will relate to this, that can also be an incredible turn on. All right? Like, incredible turn on. So, you know, the thing is, you know, what do you do in this scenario? You know? Now, look, that wasn't the red flag, by the way. But she was saying, okay, she's bisexual. So after a few weeks, I started to like her even more. And then I actually came clean. I said, listen, look, basically admitted to her. I said, look, I really need to see you. So let's have a chat. So we had a chat. She told me that she felt the same about me. So I was like, oh, wow. Oh, my God. This is amazing. Now, of course, I was so deluded, you know, that getting into a relationship with a bisexual, is that really a good idea? Is it? Well, I can tell you this, that was my first time I've ever went out with a bisexual, well, that I know of, and I had no experience with this. I had no idea. Now, I still had a little bit of a red flag for me now, okay? I'm not trying to tell you this is exactly what you should be doing, guys, but for me, it was a red flag, because I was like, oh, God, like, does she want to hook up with other women now if I'm with her? Or, you know, and then I was thinking that, well, hang on a second. If somebody's cheating on you, they cheat on you. Doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, right? As in, if somebody wants to cheat, they'll cheat. Simple as that. So I went, oh, still wasn't completely comfortable. Now, as the weeks went on, now here's red flag number one. When we got together, night one, when I admitted to her I came clean, she said the same thing, we kissed, right? Now, let's be honest, guys. Most of the time, when you do finally admit your feelings for that other person and they do the same, there's obviously been a bit of, you know, sexual tension or chemistry building up. right? So most cases, you're going to be all over each other, right? Can't keep your hands off each other. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Because you've been wanting that person for a while, and then the other way around. So there's been a build-up of all these emotions. The first night I was with her, she didn't stay at my house, I didn't stay at her house. Now that made me wonder, why? Why wouldn't you be going back to each other's house? Not necessarily for sex, right? Now, let's be honest, if you've had a build-up to all this for weeks and weeks and weeks, there's a really good chance you're going to be having sex the first night, right? Now, maybe not, and that's okay. But why wouldn't you be going back to each other's house, lying on the couch, watching TV together, falling asleep together, just being with each other in the bed, not even having sex, and still deciding, okay, you know what, honey, let's wait for a while. Even if it was that, why wouldn't you be going back? Unless now you've got a really big important job to do, project in college, whatever the fuck. Like, you know, there's a real valid reason why you're not together for the first night. Why wouldn't you be? So, quite honestly, guys, that didn't make me comfortable. Like, I spent about 2 hours with her. I went home, and even on the car ride home, I was like, no, man, this isn't right, because I really wanted to be with her that night. I didn't want to leave her. And I just driving home, I'm like, oh man, really? That's it? When am I going to see her next? We didn't even plan. Like, I was trying to get to meet her, and she just walked off. I'm like, okay, this is not, there's something wrong here, right? But sure, no, typical me, idiot Peter at the time, stuck my head in the sand, everything's going to be okay. Now, here's red flag number 2. So after night 1, we did meet up again, and look, I'll say that we did sleep with each other maybe about 3 or 4 nights later. Now, quite honestly, guys, you'd be thinking, really? 3 or 4 nights? That's how long it took you? Like, especially, again, like I'm saying, guys, the pre-build up to everything. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong either. So we had that, and she never stayed the night. She never, ever stayed the night. Again, another red flag. And all these things, you see, guys, these were starting to add up. Like, really now start to grind away at me. And she came out with this wonderful excuse that she doesn't sleep well in people's beds, except for her own. Now, it's interesting because about a year ago, a guy actually had the same problem. He emailed into me and he said, hey Peter, could you ask your followers what do they think? I have this other girl, she says she doesn't like to stay in the same bed as me or anybody else. She likes to have her own space. So I was like, wow, I can relate to this guy. Fucking hell. I was dying to hear the comments from other people because, again, I was in that scenario. So, like, the comments are coming back, well, you know, Peter, we prefer to stay in our own bed and have our own space. Nothing wrong with that. Totally understand it. Okay. You see, guys, here's the thing. Put this to yourself. If you're mad about somebody, crazy about somebody, and you want to have a relationship with this person, if you're that awkward sleeping in a bed next to somebody, don't you think you'd want to find out to see, maybe I won't be uncomfortable with Peter? Maybe Peter's the guy, or, you know, whoever it is. But I'll go with Peter. Maybe Peter's the guy that will actually get me over this sort of sleeping in the same bed as people. Because every couple wants to sleep in the same bed, right? Most. And if you don't, one person's going to have a problem with it. And believe me, guys, I had a fucking problem with this. And I'm like, really? She doesn't want to sleep in the same bed as me? Like, and here's the thing, guys. What I made a mistake of here is doing, and I hope you learn from me here. I was back and forth. What do I do? Should I give her this space? I don't want to scare her off. I don't want to put a dampener on the relationship at the start. But actually, the truth was, guys, she put the dampener on the relationship. Not me. She did. But I actually took on the guilt myself, and I went, oh, I don't want to mess things up. No. She messed it up, guys. Do you know what I mean? In other words, if you're one of these people out there that you literally cannot sleep in the same bed as people, right? Okay. Now, here's the thing that you got to ask yourself is, if you're in a new relationship with somebody and you really are mad about them, wouldn't you want to be that person who's okay sleeping in the same bed as with your partner? Like, wouldn't you like that scenario to be? You know, wouldn't it be a dream? You know, it's like, right? Surely be to God, you'd want to. Like, now, let's say it's almost impossible for you to do it. You just can't get any sleep. Wouldn't you rather have it, though, the other way, where you actually can sleep? And I'm sure 99% of you out there would love that, if you really are into the person, that is. Right? So, my mistake was, I let her off the hook. I went, okay, just give her some space, and let's just ease into the relationship. So I didn't even try and get her to stay one night for about the first 2 months, guys, right? Yeah, that's right. 2 fucking months. That was crazy. I don't even know why I did it. But look, I really wanted it to work, you know? And we did have a couple of multiple sort of mini fights over this. I was trying to say, look, don't you at least want to fucking try? And at least then you can put the monkey off your back. You can put a peace of mind knowing that, all right, well, look, I really want to try this with Peter, but let's try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least he knows then as well. You see, what you're doing, guys, is you're doing it for 2 reasons. You're making the other person feel secure, because there's an element of no, not an element. There's a huge part of this is rejection. Wow, the person doesn't want to sleep with me. So if you come to the table, guys, right, and you get into a relationship with somebody and you've got the problem sleeping in the same bed as the other person, I'm sorry to tell you now, but you can't be blaming it on the other person, because most people prefer to sleep in the same bed as their partner. Okay? And I can tell you this, you're causing trouble, not the other person. You're the one causing a situation where your partner's going to feel rejected. It's as simple as that. There's nothing more to it. This is no rocket science. Now, here's the other end of the coin, though, with that scenario, right? Maybe she didn't want to sleep in the same bed as me because she had someone else on the go. And she was using it as an excuse. Now, that opened my mind up to a lot of different things, guys. I was like, whoa, Jesus Christ, it was ugly, it was horrifying. And I never found out, because here was the other sign of it too, guys. If this also happens to you, this is another major red flag. This ex-girlfriend of mine also didn't want me in her apartment. That's right. So not only did she want to stay in the same bed as me, she didn't want me to come into her own house. Now that was the biggest red flag of all red flags. I mean, that was the one that, maybe it wasn't the biggest red flag, but it definitely hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was probably the lead up from all the other crap that are happening. And that just sent me over the edge. Like, why don't you want me to be in your house? I was with this girl for 9 months. I stayed in her house twice. It was crazy, guys. Absolutely crazy. So that really struck off things. And then I actually confronted her one night. And I said, you know, are you really bisexual? Do you even like me? Can you imagine asking your partner, like, do you even like me as a person? Oh, I'm so glad I can laugh about it these days. It was so crazy. It was madness what I put up with. So there's another red flag for you guys. And here's the other thing too. This really threw a spanner in the works. She wasn't comfortable sleeping in the same bed as me, so she said. And she didn't want me in her house because she likes her own space, so she said. But we went away for a couple of weekends away, holiday together. Right? And funnily enough, when I slept in the same bed as her in the hotel or a B&B, she slept like a fucking baby. Like, I'm not joking you. Like, I woke up, middle of the night or whatever, woke up earlier there in the morning. Every time I woke up, she was knocked out sleeping. So she was full of shit, guys, okay? Absolutely full of shit. She was hiding something. Now, does that mean that she's lesbian or gay? Lesbian or gay, straight, whatever you want to call it? It shows to me that, yeah, it could have been about cheating. But knowing this girl and tying in other things, why don't you want to spend the same night with your partner? Maybe it's all an act, a show. All a show. And here's another red flag. If all of a sudden you're feeling, is this girl even attracted to me? Is she gay? Is he lesbian? Or is she lesbian? Is he gay? And you're wondering all these things. But all of a sudden, here's another red flag that you can look out for. If they're sending photos and videos of you and your partner to their mother or father, look at us, how happy couple we are. Maybe they're putting on an act for their parents. Maybe they just are. You know, you got to keep this in mind. So guys, you know, it was a horrendous experience. What I would say to you is this, okay? Now, obviously I don't go into too much detail about it, but these were the main red flags that I said to myself, holy shit, my girlfriend is a lesbian. There was even one night I was sitting on the couch with her, I put my hand on her lap and she jolted. I went, oh my God. Now, she was trying to play it off that I just kind of gave her a fright, but I was in such a mess at this stage that I went, oh, that's it, she's a lesbian. See, so the problem is, guys, when you're in these type of scenarios, you're dealing with rejection, untrust, clearly, okay? You're questioning their sexuality, you're questioning, are they cheating on you, you're questioning everything. I mean, this girl even brought me to a gay club one night, and all of a sudden, miraculously enough, she disappeared. Now, you're probably actually judging me at the moment, going, Peter, are you fucking serious? If you're telling us the truth, why did the hell did you put up with this shit? And you're dead right, guys. But this is, excuse me, guys, but this is the thing. This is the thing, is that I hope that any of you out there listening to this, you don't make the same mistake I did, because I would hate to see anybody go through what I went through. It was horrendous. The amount of teasing, the amount of untrust, the amount of just pure horror in my head when I was going out with this girl. And you know what? The other part of it too? I hope you don't get caught up on this, because these fuckers are lying to you. They're being selfish to you. I mean, horrendously selfish. It's unbelievable how selfish some of these people are. Now, again, I'm not judging everybody here, guys, as you know. But some of these people, like my ex-girlfriend, horrendous scenario. Absolute. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Here's what I would suggest you do. Here's a solution going forward. If you feel that your partner is gay, lesbian, whatever, bring them to a gay bar or a lesbian bar, whichever way you call it, those bars. Bring them to one of those bars and see how they react around the opposite sex. Okay? See how they react, because my ex-girlfriend couldn't fucking help herself when she was in a gay bar. She couldn't help it. You should see her. She lit up like a Christmas tree looking at different women. Lit up. Okay? She never looked at me like that, unfortunately, and it's sad. Even when I look back and it's like, it was sad. But hey, I'm fine now. But bring them to a gay bar. See what happens. Also, number 2, if they do say, hey, listen, you know, I'm just going to go home. I know we're a new couple, but I'm just very uncomfortable sleeping in someone else's bed. You know, I like my own space. Well, and here's what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and keep some space between you and them, right? Now, that's not going to work, guys, because I know from fucking first-hand experience, you're going to feel rejected. You're feeling, what are they up to? Why wouldn't you want to spend the same night in the same bed as me? You're going to feel like this, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. It just builds, okay? So do not, under any circumstances, accept, okay, well, look, John needs a bit of space. Look, I'll give him his space. Maybe he'll get comfortable with me eventually. Bullshit. Don't accept that. Because you know what? To a lot of these people, it gives them power. It goes, wow, I'm getting what I want here. Now, here's the question you got to ask. Let's say, John, hang on a second. You want to be with me, yeah? Well, of course I do, Mary. Okay, John, so if you really want to be with me, don't you think you'd at least try for 1 or 2 nights at the start here? Like, let's see how we go. At least you put my mind at ease that you're not full of shit. You put your mind at ease that you tried, and we can see. Then you'll have a good gauge. And the real question is, why wouldn't you want to try it at the start? You'd want to try because you want things to work out with this person. You're not looking for reasons to stay away from a person. Like, worst case scenario, John gets a bad night's sleep. Worst case scenario. He's not going to die. Okay? He's not going to die from it. He's not going to have a heart attack from it. He'll have a maybe. And again, if John is telling you the truth and he's not full of shit, he has a bit of a rough night's sleep, then he can go home the next day. You can assess it and process it, think about it again, right? And go from there. But guys, do not under any circumstance accept letting them off for a few weeks and months like I did. I hope that you don't make the same mistake I do. And maybe it was a good thing that I actually made this mistake, so I can tell the likes of you guys. And trust me, I'll just repeat it again. I know I said it already. If you do let them off the hook, you're not being the good boyfriend and understanding boyfriend or girlfriend. You're not. What you're doing is building up lack of trust in your mind, lack of rejection, and believe you me, rejection is a huge part of this. And if you get rejected, that automatically leads into untrust, dark cloud around your head. You cannot get away with this. You got to face this head on at the start. Okay? If they don't let you into your house, well, I don't even know how to advise anybody on that one. I mean, Jesus, if I had somebody now and I was going out with them this time and they didn't want me in their house, I'd literally be telling them to go fuck themselves. There's no way I'd put up with that again. And in fact, I'd still come with that too. Why wouldn't you want me in your house? You know? You don't give them a bit of time. Okay, well, she'll get comfortable with me now in my house, and then the same for her. She'll get comfortable with me, and then she'll bring me into her house eventually. It's the exact same thing the other way around, guys. Don't accept this horseshit. It's a load of bollocks. And I found out at the end, guys, that my ex-girlfriend was and is a lesbian. She tried to convince me that she was a bisexual. Then she actually tried to spin it around at one stage, say that she was straight, that she realized in our relationship that she was straight. Then she went back to bisexual. I mean, it was incredible. It really was. But guys, she ended up cheating on me multiple times, and I finally took my head out of the sand, and thank God. And now, the great thing about I'm not on about just my relationship here, guys, and I hope you don't go through this, but please remember too, if you've had some really horrendous experiences, like even with friends, even in business, you have these business relationships, you've got friends, you've got old ex-girlfriends, boyfriends. Like for me, this ex-girlfriend that I'm talking about today was actually the greatest relationship I ever had in my life, and I'm not joking you, hand to God. Of course it wasn't in the time, but it was the best because I learned an incredible amount. I finally woke up to a lot of my delusional horseshit. Now, I wasn't completely delusional in all other parts of my life. Some bits, yeah, of course. But it definitely helped me. And it definitely helped me to look at other situations out there. So guys, if you've had bad experiences, not like mine now, but there can be great light at the end of a dark tunnel that you've come out of. And most of the time there is. We just got to be very, very self-aware that it is. Out of horrendously bad experiences can come the most greatest things. So guys, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope it helps. Look out for those red flags, guys, okay? Look out for them. And I've said it at the start, it doesn't mean that the person is gay or lesbian, what I'm on about in this story. Okay? Because you've got to assess, you've got to judge every situation, and every situation is different. However, I'd keep it on the back burner, right? And there's one or two, three things there you can try to sort of test the relationship, see what's going on, see how they react. So, I love you all, guys. Godspeed. Talk to you again. Bye-bye. dated, sorry, not even dated, my ex-girlfriend was a lesbian. And she was trying to, well, basically lie to me.